Ever been in that awkward spot where you need to send money urgently, but you're not sure how long it's going to take? Or maybe you're waiting on a payment and constantly refreshing your bank account, wondering when it will finally arrive? We've all been there. In today's fast-paced world, where everything seems to happen instantly, the question of how long it takes to send or receive money can be surprisingly complex. Think about it. We can stream movies in 4K, video call people across the globe with crystal clear quality, and order almost anything online for next-day delivery. Yet, when it comes to transferring money, there can sometimes be a frustrating delay. Why is that? Well, the truth is, there's no single, simple answer. The time it takes for a money transfer to go through depends on a whole host of factors. These range from the method you use to the banks involved, the time of day, and even the day of the week. Let's break down some of the most common methods of sending and receiving money and look at the typical timelines involved. First up, bank transfers, also known as wire transfers or electronic funds transfers, EFTs. These are a staple for many people, especially for larger sums of money. Within the same bank, transfers are usually instantaneous. You move money from your checking to your savings, boom, it's there. However, when transferring between different banks, things get a little more involved. Domestic bank transfers within the same country typically take between 1 and 3 business days. This is because the transfer has to go through clearing houses, which act as intermediaries between banks. These clearing houses verify the transaction and ensure the funds are available before releasing them to the recipient's bank. Weekends and bank holidays can further delay the process, as these are not considered business days. International bank transfers, on the other hand, can take significantly longer, sometimes up to several business days or even a week. This is due to the involvement of multiple banks in different countries and potentially different currencies. Each bank in the chain takes a small cut and processes the transaction, adding to the overall time. Currency exchange also adds a layer of complexity, as exchange rates need to be applied. Next, let's talk about debit and credit card payments. These are incredibly convenient for online and in-person purchases. When you swipe your card or make an online payment, the transaction is usually authorized almost instantly. However, the actual transfer of funds between banks can still take a few business days, similar to a bank transfer. This is why you might see a pending transaction on your statement for a short period before it's finalized. Then we have peer-to-peer, P2P, payment apps like PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, and Zelle. These have become incredibly popular for sending money to friends, family, or even for smaller business transactions. One of the biggest advantages of P2P apps is the speed. Transfers between users of the same platform are often instant, or at least very quick, sometimes within minutes. This is because the funds are typically held within the platform system, minimizing the need for interbank transfers. However, if you need to transfer money from your P2P account to your bank account, or vice versa, it can take a bit longer, usually 1 to 3 business days. This is because this transfer then involves the traditional banking system. Another factor that can affect transfer times is the time of day the transaction is initiated. If you make a transfer late in the day after banking hours, it might not be processed until the next business day. Similarly, transfers made on weekends or holidays will typically be processed on the next available business day. Security checks and fraud prevention measures can also sometimes cause delays. Banks and payment processors have systems in place to detect suspicious activity and prevent fraud. If a transaction is flagged for review, it might be held up temporarily while these checks are carried out. This is a crucial safety measure that protects both the sender and the recipient. Now, let's address some common scenarios. Imagine you're splitting a dinner bill with friends. Using a P2P app is the fastest option. The money will likely arrive in their account within minutes. But if you're paying your rent to a landlord who only accepts bank transfers, you need to plan ahead and initiate the transfer a few days before the due date to avoid late fees. Or let's say you are sending money to a family member in another country. In this case, you should expect the transfer to take longer, potentially several days, due to the international nature of the transaction. You might also want to compare different transfer options, such as international money transfer services, which sometimes offer faster or more cost-effective solutions than traditional bank transfers. So, to recap, how long does it take to send or receive money? It depends. It depends on the method you use, the banks involved, the time of day, the day of the week, and even security checks. For quick transfers within the same bank or using P2P apps, you can expect near instantaneous transactions. For domestic bank transfers and card payments, allow 1 to 3 business days. And for international bank transfers, be prepared for potentially several business days or even a week. Planning ahead is key. If you know you need to send or receive money by a specific date, initiate the transfer well in advance to avoid any last-minute stress. And if you're unsure about the processing time, it's always a good idea to contact your bank or the payment platform for clarification. Understanding the factors that affect transfer times can help you manage your finances more effectively and avoid any unexpected delays. It's all about choosing the right method for your needs and understanding the typical timeline.